Yo, what is up? It is your boy Willie Mae back with another solo Q podcast. Pop is we're on different sleeping schedules at this point. Meaning I've been trying to sleep and he's been uh just different time zones, whole Japan thing. But I just wanted to put out some content. Just woke up, had a lot on my mind, so without further ado, the video that I think it's the Vivica A Fox video that everybody's been talking about. I haven't been following social media like that as much as I should be because it's a lot to deal with, to be honest, with depending on which direction we want to go to. I like to think in logic, and it feels like everything on the internet now is about feelings, and it's kind of detrimental to like the way that people should be thinking in a logical manner. But you know what? It's 2022. The world is just going to have to see how things unfold, and we're here for it. Um, so this is about a teenage boy. I'll just read the title. Man tries to tell his mom about his depression. This is what happens oftentimes when men try to open up. So we talked about it before. Some would say it's misogynistic to talk about men's health and men's empowerment and things like that. I don't believe that to be true. Women talk about their feelings all the time. And as we've seen time and time again, whenever a man decides to open up to a woman, talk about his feelings, in most cases, not every case, the man is looked down upon or told to suck it up or man up and things like that. And even other men jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh, you're a man, you just suck it up and get things done. So without further ado, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll continue to pump out these videos. Now, if I can get this share going, then it will be all Gucci. So let's dive right into it.
Media is desperate for her son, Ty, to get his life together. He has no job and no goals. Lavinia, what was Ty like as a child?
I'm a single parent. I had to work. This kid would pick up his two little sisters, make sure that they eat, make sure that their homework was done. If I had to stay late, he'd make sure they took a bath and put them to sleep. And then he changed.
Ty, you're getting really emotional right now, and so am I, because
Yeah, I did change, and I'm still that kid. I'm still that kid.
I haven't
told
seen
her
him in
that.
10
I'm still that
years.
kid. I'm still that kid. I'm tired. I'm depressed. I'm tired.
You know, okay.
I'm tired. I'm just tired. I'm hurt. I've been through stuff in my life.
Because
No,
you
that's
chose
personal.
to.
No, it don't even matter about none of that.
It does
No,
matter.
listen, it does. It does. But I'm tired. Like I said, I'm depressed. I have personal things going on. Sometimes that
Tell
can
us
stop
what those
somebody.
personal things
that
are.
can stop people. Me being depressed.
what are
like
those
me,
personal things you're going through?
Like-
Stop yelling about them and tell us about it.
So the thing I see right here is you have a dude trying to vent that he's going through stuff. And truthfully, it's just like how women are always saying, like, oh, men don't listen, men don't listen. But the same thing is the same for women is when men go to vent and tell about their problems, it's like, oh, y'all aren't listening. You hear bitching and moaning and complaining. And we've seen it time and time again. You can just get on this app and look up men opening up to women, and you will see that most women are like, oh, as soon as a man gets emotional with me or he starts crying, like I immediately lose respect for him. So what is it with women where it's a man crying or venting about his feelings is something that is not to be respected, right? So you have women who understand men, who study men, who want to know how men are, and women expect men to do the same. But with a lot of women, they're selfish. I mean, men are selfish, but in the long term, a majority of men aren't as selfish. And a lot of men become selfish after they've been hurt by women or whoever you want to date these days, the significant others, as we would say. Because me, I can relate to men because I can, well, not well, I am a man, so the most I always hear from are men opening up about their problems, opening up about their emotional state. I dealt with self-deletion, as they would say, from multiple friends. Just my homeboys going through it emotionally, on the brink of depression, sometimes severe depression. And it's all the same. No woman that they have in their life ever wants to hear their problems. It's almost like men get to a point where they need to vent, and the only people they can vent to are other men, because other men aren't going to judge you. If my bro hits me up and he's just like, yo, I'm going through it, this, and that, I'm like, yo, what do you need? Like, I'll call him every day. I'll text him. I'll make sure that he's good. And I've had to do that. So it's one of those things where women have inherently become more selfish in this generation because they've been hurt by certain men who took them for granted. And the same thing goes for men. Men have been hurt by multiple women, but a lot of them don't take that as spite. They go to the gym, they move on, and then when they meet a new girl, they're just like, okay, this isn't going to be like the last time. And then usually when it gets to that emotional state where a dude is breaking down and going through things, that's when a female starts to look at them differently and be like, oh, you're not providing this, you're not providing that. And they're raising the expectation way too high. But I'll get into it more. We'll finish this video and see what they have to say. But as we can see, this will just be a prime example of how it is being a man and what goes on when we start to vent to women most of the time.
Things you're going through. Stop yelling about them and tell us about it.
All right, like my personal stuff, like I never really had friends, and then when I got around friends, I basically always did exactly. I always had to, like, it's like I feel like, yeah, you gave me everything, but you kind of gave me too much. But because you gave me too much, my friends were jealous of me. I always had fake friends around me. So that's what I'm saying. It's cool that you did that, but you also got to understand what that brings, what that attracts, Mark. You got to feel me on that. That's what I'm saying.
You got some twisted logic going on here. That's some twisted
man, like,
logic.
I'm just saying, it's mental things that can mess with.
Okay,
it's mental things that bothers me in the physical
telling us
world.
that you're depressed.
I don't have motivation. How can I have motivation? Yes. How can I have my motivation when everything is handed to me?
Right. So you're telling us that you're depressed.
Yeah, I'm depressed. I'm always depressed. I'm in a dark spot. I know I'm in a dark spot, and I've been there for a long time.
But Ty, that's still no reason that if you feel that and you're a dark place, to take that out on your mother.
That's my best friend, yo. That's my best friend. I can't even talk to my mom.
Okay, hold up. So has he had a problem with alcohol?
He has a problem with alcohol. He's an alcoholic.
Ty, when did you start drinking? How old were you?
Probably 13.
13. Okay.
Probably
That's
13.
Very early.
She be drinking with me. She put me on.
I put you on at 13?
She put me on, yeah.
You're a liar.
Vivica, how much is he drinking?
He drinks 5 to 6 bottles, and the bottles is like this, like the 40 ounces.
Oh, he's chugging some 40 ounces?
Yeah,
The
we
40
heard that
ounces.
Years ago, I was like 17, 19.
That's a lie. 5
Really?
and 6. I promise you, Vivica. 5 to 6.
I would throw up now.
Day.
I would throw up. If I tried that now, I would throw up now.
no.
If I tried that now,
That's a
I'm
long
telling
list.
you.
That's binge drinking.
Let me tell
5
you
to 6
something.
drinks
Y'all
binge
building y'all
drinking.
have, he's only been here a day and a half.
Right.
So tell us, you stayed at a hotel that the show put you up in, and you ran up almost a $200 bar bill.
Here, let's talk about it. One bottle of whiskey, $60. One bottle of premium tequila, $71.18. One bottle of regular tequila, $17.
So this is borderline disgusting at this point. Literally, this dude's talking about, oh, I'm depressed, this, and that. And what they're doing is they're flipping it on him to make him into the problem. And they're downgrading. They're pretty much making it sound like, oh, well, you're not really depressed. You're just an alcoholic. Or, oh, we're all going through things, so you should just handle it. And this is more so of like we'll just be a man. This dude is taking on more masculine traits than he needs to at a young age, because as a young age, as a young man, like, you don't need to be super masculine. You need to live in the moment. You need to just be a kid. And as you get older, you define these masculine traits that you want to take on. But he just said that he took care of his brothers and sisters. Pretty much his mom worked too much. And I can relate to this, not in the same situation, but like my mom, when my dad left us, I think when I was 12, 13, that's when I started taking care of my sister and everything like that. My mom was an amazing mother. Like, she wasn't out here on OnlyFans. She wasn't out here stripping, doing all this other stuff. She went to school, and at me being the man of the house at that point, I took control, but I didn't make excuses. And to be honest, like, I wasn't depressed or anything like that. So I can't relate to his situation. I'm assuming that he had more on his plate, because with me, it was just me and my sister. And to be honest, my sister wasn't that bad. But I know plenty of people who have like 4 or 5 brothers and sisters, and they're taking on the role of being the man of the house and at the same age. But I think this is disgusting, the way that they're just flipping this on him. Like, they got his whole hotel bill. Like, okay, I'm in a hotel, I'm about to go on a show and everything's free. Yeah, like, I'm gonna run up a bill. Like, it is what it is. But they're not even focusing on like his depression. Now they're just making it into, oh, well, you're not depressed because you're an alcoholic. And the other thing that he said was like his mom giving him everything that he wanted. Like, I had to work for a lot of the things that I wanted, but my mom also gave me a lot of things, which now people are always like, oh, you grew up in the suburbs and everything like that. And it's like, no, I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up in the hood, and I just didn't do hood shit. And that's the thing too, is like, you also get looked at down upon growing up like that, like where he said, oh, I had a lot of fake friends, because growing up, kids don't understand that, like, okay, somebody who they look at people who have stuff as somebody that they need to be friends with, because okay, they can get stuff. So me and my friends weren't like that. Like, my homeboy Tito had a vehicle, a car, and it was like, oh yeah, like, yo, Tito, you can take us to McDonald's and everything like that. But I wasn't just gonna be like, yo, let me get a free ride. I was gonna be like, yo, I'll give you $10 if you take me down to McDonald's, and I'll buy your food. So that's the type of friends that I had. But not everybody grows up like that. There's a lot of people out there that I had to duck and dive, who would be like, oh, well, this motherfucker's got a car, so like, I'm gonna be nice to him so I can get a ride. And then eventually you see it as a kid. But let me just finish this off before I jump to conclusions, some would say. But I see where this is going for sure.
1952. We got some beer, a couple soft drinks, and an orange juice.
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
You did this yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
Why would you think that's okay?
I didn't. I wasn't thinking.
You just did it.
I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking.
But did
I
you
saw it. I saw it. I
by
saw it.
yourself?
No, I had friends with me.
On our tab, you know, Vivica, I want to say, I don't feel anything. This is all something that, as an alcoholic, I'm very familiar with. It's the woe was me story, the oh, I'm so sorry, well, feel sorry for me because I was deprived of this, that, and the other thing, and I was raised really well, just like this kid was. This is all, I don't feel any emotion toward him right now.
Why?
Because it's all a game. It's all his
For
MO.
him to get his way?
His MO. His manipulation of his, I would cry. I'm sorry, Mom, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to drive.
Yeah, that's wild. Because there's no accountability for his mother. The mother raises a son a certain way. Your son turns out a certain way. And then you blame your son for not seeing your vision of him that you expected of him. And this happens often. I will say that I was not the perfect son coming up, and I had a lot of problems that I dealt with. And granted, I had the church and a lot of mentors growing up, but not everybody was a positive mentor. Some dudes were just like, yo, we're just going to drink our problems away. So I can relate to that. I've been in the military for a couple years now. And to be honest, a lot of people drink. And a lot of those dudes got out and they continue to drink. So they're building habits that are not necessarily in their best interest. And I think that this is just disgusting. Like, you have a panel of women who are not even trying to understand why this kid is the way he is. He literally said, like, I mean, think about it. He's a young kid. Oh, I'm going on a national TV show. And they said I could just run up the tab, or I could just run up a bottle, or like, I got a free tab in the room. Of course, you're going to invite some friends over and be like, yo, this is dope. Like, because that's a coping mechanism. He's been drinking since he was 13. His mom was like, oh, I didn't put you on. I didn't put you on. I didn't put you on. But she allowed all this stuff to happen, because what did she do to stop him from going down this line? There's no accountability on her side. As a mother, you knew that your son was drinking 4 to 5 bottles of E&J or 40s, and you did nothing. And then you're mad that he turned out to be a certain way down the line. So the biggest takeaway from this is there's just no accountability, and men's health doesn't matter. Because even when he's crying, pouring himself out, they immediately make it into like, oh, you want sympathy, you want this, you want that. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm looking at the video in the wrong light, but you guys are free to comment in the comment box and tell me what you guys think. But I just think that this is just like, this is why men don't open up. Men literally break down crying on national TV, expecting to get some type of, not even like sympathy, I think more so just accountability and help, and just like it's going to be okay, like consoling. He wanted to be consoled. He wanted to be told that it's okay that your life was not perfect, and maybe your mom set you up for failure, but things can be better. And to be honest, let's just look at some of the comments, because that'll be a good start to where we can open up this discussion. He couldn't be a kid. She looks for him to be a man instead of a kid. He's hurt. So that was like my main focus, is just me growing up in a single parent home, my mom always being at school or work, me having to take care of my sister. I can relate to this situation. Even with the whole, my mom she gave me enough. I remember one time, I'm not even gonna get into this story, but it's relatable. Let's just say that they aren't even trying to help him. They're just sitting there judging him, shaking my head for sure. He's talking to the wrong crowd. He needs an all-man panel to truly understand his stand. And that's where we're getting, because not one, Vivica A. Fox was just kind of like, oh, I feel for you. I'm crying with you, this, and that. But then she didn't defend him at all. So what are you really like doing? He is the wrong place for help. No one is listening. They aren't listening. Now they cutting him off and not listening. Let the man finish. His childhood was stolen from him. He had to be a parent to his siblings because of his parents' action and or lack thereof. This is how you make a man be dead on the inside, just a robot, drowning his problems in alcohol, just to operate normally to give everyone what they need. And I think that's enough to be said. So I'm not crazy when I'm looking at this whole situation, and I'm not being judgmental. I'm not saying that, oh, women don't understand men, this, and that. I'm just saying that we need to start looking at situations from both sides. I see where they look at him and say, well, I think a lot of women look at men no matter what. As soon as you're 18, it's like, oh, well, you're a man. But a lot of dudes at 18 are not men. They're boys who have had to take on responsibilities of men, and they don't understand why they have had to take on those responsibilities. So with that being said, what do you guys think? I think that this is borderline disgusting. I think that they really just drug this man on national TV, a whole panel of women who are supposed to be role models and leaders. I feel like if you're on a platform like this, you shouldn't be bashing men in general, especially a younger man who will take this as, he could take this very spiteful and just be like, I can't trust women. I don't like women. And that's the thing that we're not seeing. A lot of these women are creating these problems for themselves, and not even the women who have to take on these men after they've been broken and beat down and everything like that. But there's no accountability on the woman's side for other women who are doing this to men, because most females have a friend group that they know where it's like, oh, these females just destroy men. They use men. They break them down emotionally. They gaslight them, this, and that. And the same thing for dudes. But most of the time, dudes are going to be like, bro, like an older dude is going to tell a younger dude, yo, why are you doing this? And a lot of these older females never get past that point where they realize that they're the problem and they need to change the men that they're actually attracting. So as a society, we have a lot to change. And I mean, I guess I'm here for it. This is start of a new year, going into 2023, and our goal here is to be more consistent and to see things from both sides. So until next time, hopefully I didn't rant too much. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Tell me what you think, and we can open up this discussion further. So without further ado, peace. That wasn't a middle finger, that was a peace sign. Peace.